listening to The Review on the OSG Sports Podcasting Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Review. It's the Online Sports Guys College Football Podcast, where we talk about, of course, college football.
What?
Yeah, though it would be kind of funny if we called it the Online Sports Guys College Football Podcast, and then we ended up talking about golf.
That'd be kind of odd.
That's for before we start recording and after we record.
Yeah.
Just to see if anybody was paying attention, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Busy week in college football. A few games that might have some impact on the college football playoff, but a lot of games that are going to have impact on the coaching futures of several people. A few surprises and a few disappointments.
I was disappointed that that both Florida and Miami didn't lose on Saturday.
I think Miami could have easily lost just by the fact that they only won 26-7, and that was only due to a strong fourth quarter. But we'll get into that in a minute.
Go for it.
I guess we'll start with talking a little bit about the games this past week. I really want to talk a little bit about coaches as well, because there are some programs that are in serious trouble just weeks into the season.
Mm-hmm.
And once we get to the second half of the show, of course, we'll talk about the upcoming games. And I think the next week's games should have a little bit more interesting of a slate of action. And of course, everybody's favorite segment, College Football on a Budget, where we tell you about games that you could go to for roughly the price of your favorite soft drink. Thank you for raising the cup, Marty. Let's jump in, guys. I guess the first game we should talk about, we'll go kind of chronologically here. Your Friday evening game, Oklahoma State drops to 1-2, but the important thing here is how they dropped to 1-2. Coming off a humiliation at Oregon, they played cross-state competitor Tulsa, and Tulsa got the best of them. Tulsa wins the game 19-12, sending the Cowboys into a bit of a tailspin. Guys, you want to talk a little bit about this and the potential future of their head coach?
They have similar budgets, so
yeah,
it's a fair fight. What do you expect?
I know. It's first and foremost, I think this was the first time since 1951 that Tulsa beat Oklahoma State. And
it's Stillwater.
Yes. And what we also do here, because of the geography attached, we give a huzzas and a congratulations and a high and hearty salute to Trey Lamb, who is from our footprint. We know him from his time at Mercer and a couple of other places in between. He is the new head coach. He was named December 8th, first season. How about this for a signature win? You like apples? How about this one?
Well done.
Oh, no, that's Washington.
That's Apple Cup, I know. No, golden apples. Maybe golden apples in a hurricane. I don't know. I don't know if there was any
They
crossfire.
tend to go flying during a hurricane. So.
Yeah, that's true, yes. But, I don't know if there was any crossfire involved or anything like that. But big win for Trey Lamb, signature win there. And while you guys are talking about it, I'm going to look for a buyout figure. So I'll catch up in a second.
Ooh. If they don't have this website, we should have started ourselves, coachesbuyout.com.
Oh.
Yeah.
You could get some serious traffic on there.
Or heat on the coach's seat, because I think in this case, Mr. Gundy's seat has gone from habanero to ghost pepper.
So it agreed to a restructured contract last year that included a $1 million pay cut, decreased buyout that opened the door for something faster. New contract runs through 28. Pays him $6.75 this year with a $125,000 raise annually. Unlike most coaches, and this is from our friends at CBS Sports, unlike most coaching contracts that have a percentage buyout, Gundy's new deal has a flat rate. If he's fired in the first 3 years of the deal, Oklahoma State will pay him $15 million. If he's fired in the fourth year of the deal, his buyout is $10 million. Contract also included language about Gundy participating in the program's succession plan, for identifying the next Oklahoma State head coach via News 9 in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, the cost high for you and me, the cost for a major college football program, not so much.
T. Boone Pickens, you got change for a 20.
His butt couldn't be hotter if he had 3-week-old chili with a side of blue Takis. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
basically, yes.
but you go into this and you're going, well, if you are firing said individual, and he's supposed to be involved in participating in the program's succession plan, do you really want that?
Yeah.
He's not an individual. He's a man.
Yes, he's more than 40, by the way.
Yeah, I read an interesting article over the day yesterday. Apparently, part of the reason Oklahoma State's been struggling is up until this year, their NIL money had been directed pretty much towards players already on the roster as opposed to bringing in new players, which is
payroll to meet.
Yeah, which is the current flavor of the season for most teams. And while that doesn't excuse or justify the fact that they're not very good, it does at least explain what's going on there.
Well, I roll. What's on your mind?
I mean, just the precipitous collapse of the Oklahoma State football program. And this, when we were growing up, they weren't Oklahoma or Nebraska, but Jimmy Johnson was there, and they were good. And they were good for a long time, and now them, along with Washington State and Oregon State, look absolutely awful. So a definite loser in the landscape of new college football.
Yeah, you'd think they would have made a step forward with how much weaker their conference got.
But everybody wanted to sit there, and they know that it was lights out and take the over. And so you're spending a lot of your resources on offensive firepower, and somehow OSU either got left behind defensively and not being able to make that one or two stops, or didn't match what everybody else was doing and trying to find offensive talent. So,
You would think with T. Boone Pickens kind of funding the way things have run in that program that they would have had the money to do what they wanted to do, like all the other schools, but yet here we are.
Well, but that's the thing, you could have, and I think that we're finding this out, is that you could have the sugarest of daddies, the deepest of pockets, but if you're still only going 7-6 or 6-7, what does that say about the individuals that are in charge of bringing in that talent with the money that you're spending?
I was going to say, do they, like the schools that are successful, do they have a director of player personnel?
Yes.
Yeah, and
seeing more and more of that.
It sounds a lot like their program has not kept up with the times, which is going to be and will continue to be a problem. Mm-hmm. Speaking of teams that have not kept up with the times, the Clemson Tigers, also in the same hole that the Cowboys are. Clemson going down, losing again as the Syracuse Orange march into Death Valley and walk away with a 34-21 win.
For those in the audio, listening to us for audio, Mr. Fox is holding up a Syracuse sweatshirt with a smirk on his face.
He fluffed that thing, and he just kind of popped it, and it was all.
He might have lifted it 4 or 5 times.
Might have sat there, and that was quite the vintage play there, Sly. That was very nice.
Well, John Nelson, you had this game pegged right, and I had it wrong. But the reality was that Syracuse was ready to play and Clemson wasn't. And after the onside kick, after the first touchdown, even the color commentator said, Fran Brown's not messing around today. And Clemson is a mess right now. And so, wow. I mean, the Fighting John Nelsons of Florida State have a really interesting path now in the ACC. This is it's pretty wild.
Are you saying their downhill entrance is very accurate for that team?
Yeah, it would certainly appear that way.
And speaking of coachesbuyout.com, this is a number that I was stunned when I saw it. So he signs a 10-year, $115 million extension in 2021 that goes through 2031. Made him obviously one of the highest paid coaches around. Buyout this year, $60 million. The
Mhm.
buyout violates speed limits.
That's inside.
Does that mean he's going to Georgia?
That's inside of course, inside of big, large cities. Outside of that, it's 65.
Yes. And in 2026, if they were to wait until Dabo is 56 years old, it drops to the sum total of $57 million. It is still a speed limit violation in subdivisions. From 2027, the buyout is the full remaining salary left on the contract. And then there is also the buyout clause that if he was to take the position at the University of Tuscaloosa,
which isn't happening,
and there's a percentage. It's like a kick up of like it's like 1.5 times the buyout if he takes the job in Tuscaloosa after this one. So, $60 million this year, $57 million next year. Good luck on finding those dollars.
Is he trying to retire early, or is he just losing his touch?
I think it's a second.
How many decades ago does it seem like that he won them their national championship and got that big, gigantic, crazy contract?
42.
A friend of mine texted me, I won't mention his name, but so that the tampering of Clemson players starting last night is going to be off the charts.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, what a situation they have now.
Oh, boy.
And it's not that they're not lacking for talent. This is a team that's got at least 4 top 2-round draft picks on their defense. Cade Klubnik mentioned in the preseason as a potential Heisman candidate. Of course, that same group also may have had Clemson ranked in the top 10 preseason, which shows just how idiotic preseason rankings are.
Check.
Klubnik threw the ball 60 times in this game for Clemson. Completing 37 of them for 363 yards, but that just Syracuse just flat out beat them. Clemson turned the ball over once. Syracuse didn't turn the ball over. Oh, yep. I'm sorry. They did turn over one fumble, have one turnover as well, but they just flat out beat Clemson in every aspect of the game.
Yep. What
can you say?
Yeah, not good. No, not good.
I mean, I love watching it. I absolutely love watching. I mean, the only person I love watching lose more is the head coach at LSU.
Yeah,
and I like LSU. I just hate their coach.
We won't even get into that game, which was their version of a cupcake exhibition game. They won 56-10 over Southeast Louisiana.
That was an EA Sports make your own schedule type matchup.
Yes. But going down the top 25 list, Miami gets the win over Florida, keeps the Gators floundering.
Is there no justice in the world when two teams can't lose a football game at the same time?
We thought that could happen. After 3 quarters, the score was only 13-7 Miami, and Florida had some momentum after scoring late in the 3rd quarter, but Miami kicked it up a notch. They scored 13 in the 4th quarter, or walk away with a win. Not a pretty game, but they did enough to get the victory.
At least somebody's winning in Miami.
Hey, now. That hurts.
I know. Hey, I'm a Browns fan.
Look, I didn't get an appropriate harumph out of the rest of you on this one. So
no, you did.
Bill's country. I appreciated the remark.
Can't do it.
Moving on, the Battle of Oregon led to an Oregon Ducks victory. They win easily, 41-7. We don't even really need to talk too much about that.
No, we don't.
Oregon still hasn't played anybody of significant note. That will be changing next week, and we'll talk about that in the second half of the show. John, your Florida State Seminoles with another cruising easy win, 66-10.
Woo.
Yeah.
We're that much closer to bowl eligibility.
Wake me up when it's over. You played Kent.
Yeah.
You needed Clark. You needed Clark Kent in this one, you know?
I don't even think Clark Kent could have salvaged that game for them. Florida State never was challenged. They were up 35-7 after 1 quarter, and the rest as we say, is history.
Can we go to the next one real quick?
But I'm just saying, look for Kent to be good next year because they've got like 3 money games in a row on their schedule. So they're going to have a good budget next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we go to the next one real quick?
Which one? Texas and Sam Houston?
Yeah, Bearcats with a K.
Why did we want to go to that one? It was 55-0.
Because the quarterback for the program that plays at DKR decided to celebrate and stand over a Bearcat with a K after scoring a rushing touchdown.
You mean the guy that everybody said was going to win the Heisman and hasn't played anything near like it?
5 rushes for 11 yards. One of those was for a score. You plowed through a Bearcat with a K. You stood over him when you scored a touchdown. That was a
stood over a guy that tripped. It was the douchiest thing I've seen all weekend.
And this is what I'm saying.
And I live in Texas.
Oh, no. That can be topped.
Okay.
Remember, we also had a game this week where somebody stepped on the kicker's foot.
I'm going to pay for his NIL, by the way.
But that's all we'll talk about with Texas. But we do want to talk about the next 2 games here. First, we'll go to the teams that were ranked a little bit higher, although I'm not exactly sure why after this score.
Yeah.
Once previously number 9, Illinois traveled to Bloomington on the Indiana Hoosiers, and they left with their tail between their legs. Indiana 63, Illinois 10 in a game that wasn't even that close.
I'm sitting back on this one.
Yeah, I had Illinois plus 52, and I thought I had it in the bag. Very disappointed on that front. But this sort of looked like the Brady Bunch episode where the quarterback from the rival high school was using Marcia to get Greg's playbook and then stole the doctored version instead. I mean, the only
past times when they crashed Jefferson's car.
Exactly, yeah, an excellent reference there and totally accurate. And the only good news I have from this game is that I was at a wedding and I was under such heavy sedation and unable to watch it that I was able to just keep tabs on my phone and not have to actually see the thing play out.
You didn't subject yourself to it.
Thank goodness. I might actually still be in that condition, but that's a debate for another time. But really, Indiana's really good. I mean, they were ready to go. Illinois, it didn't help that the best defensive back was out and they lost a few more during the game, but it really didn't matter because they didn't do anything. And strangely, Brett Bielema said that they've been preparing for this game since February. And I don't know what they were doing to prepare for it, but it's certainly I would advise a different strategy for next year if they're going to take that tact. But there's no time for Illinois to feel sorry for themselves because they've got Big Noon Kickoff coming to town next week and a team rolling in who's capable of doing the exact same thing to them that Indiana did. So, hey, hats off to Indiana because they played great and they look great, and we'll see where that takes them because they're probably better than they are last year.
I think we should have known Indiana was going to come out hard when they started putting out on social media that their new pretzel was shaped like the helmet logo. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the IU on the side, their pretzels in the stadium are shaped like that.
Marty, I don't want to know about anybody coming out hard, okay? It's just
giggity.
Don't want to know about that.
Well played, Indiana. Well played.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a game with a little bit of a controversy. Auburn traveled out to Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. Oklahoma gets the win 24-17, only to find out after the game that the officials blatantly missed what ended up being a touchdown for Oklahoma on a deceptive play that is basically illegal in college football.
Yep.
Yet the refs didn't see it, so they didn't call it and didn't know it happened. Oklahoma wins by exactly the margin of that one play, and I'll leave this one to the floor if you want to talk a little bit more about it.
Oh yeah, Sly, go ahead. Because I might be a little longer than the rest of you. I'll do it.
I missed it, so I'm gonna.
Oh,
Since you have Auburn within the family, I'll let you take it.
all right, Marty, then go second. Marty, go for it.
No, it's all you.
Okay.
I see Patty over your shoulder looking at me, and it is the
Yeah.
floor.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. So,
If
uh,
that face turns to anger, we're in trouble.
yeah, well, yeah, really, especially then that would be something that about fatheads that none of us knew when it came to their own makeup when it comes to their constitution. Late last night, there was a touchdown that Oklahoma registered as a score. The officials registered it as a touchdown where it looked like Oklahoma was substituting out a wide receiver, leaves the huddle, starts heading toward the sideline. And then, obviously the defense is focused on the dudes that are in front of them, and they're not counting, numbers or anything. The receiver that was allegedly leaving the field of play stayed in the field of play and was about 5 yards back from the line of scrimmage. Then the ball is snapped. Receiver basically does a fly route down the sideline, caught, nobody's near him, and it's a touchdown. And so if you want to extrapolate that this was the game-winning score, or at least the game-tying score or something like that, then, if it's subtracted, depending on if you're using addition or subtraction, take your pick. So because of that, the game either is a 7-point win for Oklahoma or it's tied at that point, and then there are other turnovers and calls that were made that were down the line, and this crew is probably going to be disciplined rather severely. Late last night, the SEC comes out with a statement on this, and it was not, how do we say, flattering for the officiating crew. The statement from the SEC goes like this. In Saturday's Auburn-Oklahoma game, 10:50 remaining second quarter, pass was thrown, resulting in a touchdown. Oklahoma's number 5 participated in the previous play, which was a first down play from the 22. After the first down play was completed, Oklahoma's number 5 continued toward his team's sideline, but stopped just before reaching the Oklahoma sideline. NCAA football rule Q-2, Article 2, is labeled Unfair Tactics, paragraph B, stating, quote, no simulated replacements or substitutions may be used to confuse opponents. No tactic associated with substitutes or the substitution process may be used to confuse opponents. This includes any hideout tactic with or without a substitution. End quote. The officiating crew did not properly interpret the action as a hideout tactic. If properly officiated, the second down play should have resulted in a team unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, 15 yards assessed from the previous spot. Appropriate accountability will be applied without additional comment. And I don't think we necessarily would need to know any kind of other comment, because if the crew gets assigned, if they get broken up, if they end up doing games in the Missouri Valley, or they end up doing the late night game in the SEC on some ESPN Plus, you'll know what the discipline was. But basically, you can't hide out on the sideline, give the impression that you're subbing out, still be on the field of play, and then be engaged in the subsequent play. So that was judged incorrectly. It was not looked at by the officiating crew. You get a touchdown, and it really should have been back at the 37-yard line. So, yes, the boss and everyone attached to her alma mater was quite hot about that one. That was not the only play they were hot about. So I will be intrigued what the future of this officiating crew is within the SEC. There are other issues that still need to be addressed with Jackson Arnold and the offensive line. There were 10 sacks and 14 TFLs by Oklahoma in this game on Saturday. That, to me, speaks to other issues that the boss is going to be gnashing her teeth over in subsequent weeks. I yield the balance of my time.
Good.
Man, nothing left to be said there.
I mean, look,
Yeah.
she's blowing up my phone. I'm watching Major League Soccer on Saturday. She's blowing up my phone with paragraphs, and the only thing missing are the 8x10 color glossies with the paragraphs on the back of each one, laying everything out with circles and graphs and everything. So I mean, it was out of control yesterday.
We need some yarn and some little buttons.
Yeah, really. I mean, she was sending me paragraphs about everything going on yesterday. So yes, there are a lot of folks who are pissed.
Not much really need to be said about the next two games. Ole Miss 45, Tulane 10, Tennessee 56, UAB 24. Tennessee up 42-0 or 42-7 at the half.
How about the stomping of the kicker by the UAB guy?
Yeah. That is one thing we probably should mention is one of the more unsportsmanlike things that I think I've ever seen is UAB player walking by Tennessee's kicker as he's getting ready to prepare for a field goal attempt,
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't just step on his shoes; he stomped on the guy's foot and shoe,
Both.
uh, and then just kind of bounced off the field while everybody else ran after him, prepared to fight. Obviously, it didn't mean much in the grand scheme of things of the game, but that's one of the weirder things I think I've ever seen. What do you guys think about this one, guys?
Go for it.
Maybe he had watched the I Hate Christian Laettner 30 for 30 earlier that day and felt inspired. Who knows?
So
Man,
was there a flag on that?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so either.
I don't. I don't
Can the
remember.
conference like
Can
hit him
you
with
can you
a?
can you retro an unsportsmanlike or a suspension or something?
I mean, because like soccer, rugby,
Yeah.
you can review afterwards and
Yeah, you can still
suspend him.
he could certainly get suspended for that.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can get I think you can get an unsportsmanlike out of that. Yeah. And
I mean,
so-
you were literally targeting his
Yeah.
the one thing he uses.
Yeah. And I mean, this and if I remember correctly, it's the same kicker that was having the issues in the Georgia game. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to continue to add to his the things that he's supposed to think about that have nothing to do with the kick. And so you end up with that particular move. I haven't seen it before. I don't think I can recall anybody ever stepping with cleats onto a kicker's kicking foot. And yeah, basically the entire roster was about ready to take their shots at UAB. And if you want to talk about somebody who really should be on the hot seat past Habanero, I don't know what the Birmingham or the Alabama equivalent is when it comes to maybe soul food or barbecue. But Trent Dilfer probably should be on that list as well.
Yeah,
Buyout not as high.
the Blazers 2-2 on the season, Tennessee 3-1. I want to talk a little bit about the next game because I find it interesting. Texas Tech could arguably be called the anti-Oklahoma State. Texas Tech, they win 34-10 over Utah in Utah. And Tech spent a ton of money in the offseason to bring in transfers who portaled from various big schools around the ACC and the SEC. And all of a sudden, they went from having defense ranked in the hundreds to a defense that's now a top 10 college football defense.
Hey,
And
Stillwater, take a look.
yeah, and the Red Raiders are pretty good.
You go to Utah, you stay in Utah. An interesting part of this was the local kickoff time of 10 a.m. So
Yeah, how
I
did
don't know
that
if that
happen?
I don't know who that affected, or I mean, it certainly didn't affect tailgating because I don't know how much tailgating actually happens there. But
No caffeine, no drinking.
I know.
but it had to be rough for the home team to for a 10 a.m. kickoff. So I don't know if that produced an advantage for Texas Tech at all for being 11 o'clock on their time schedule. But
It was
they're clearly
brunch.
the better team.
It was brunch for Texas Tech.
Yeah, I don't think the kickoff time probably had too much to do with it. I think Texas Tech is just better than Utah. Outgained them 484 to 263 in yards. No significant turnover deal, but and not a major discrepancy in time of possession. But Texas Tech took care of business. They dropped 24 points on Utah in the fourth quarter to pull away for the easy win.
That's
Yeah.
kind of surprising considering like Utah's been having solid defense the past few years.
Mhm.
Exactly. That's kind of my point there.
Held. I mean, the 263 in net yards is the shocker for me. The Texas Tech defense doing that, where 101 yards rushing on 7 different rushers, and you were held to 3 1/3 yards per carry, and Devin Dampier 4 yards per attempt in this matchup. So I don't know if anybody from Stillwater should go to Lubbock and kind of find out how they've done it, but maybe you should. Just saying.
And moving down the list here, Vanderbilt with an easy win, a ranked Vanderbilt team, no less. They destroyed Georgia State 70 to 21.
Yeah, our buddy Del McGee's got some work to do.
Yes. And And then an interesting game, Michigan at Nebraska, which was one of the better games on the schedule this week, and it kind of lived up to the billing.
This was interesting 40 years ago. Who are we kidding?
I had this one pegged wrong again last week, and I knew when Nebraska messed up the fourth down play in the first quarter that it was going to be the same old Nebraska lose a close game, and that's exactly what happened.
Same as it ever was.
Yeah.
You got a quarterback cosplaying Mahomes.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dylan Raiola I think he has tried to have regular conversations with Patrick about how he quarterbacks, and you kind of see that now with what you're seeing in Dylan. Dylan on the day, 308 yards and 3 scores, and I mean Matt Rule
he had less touchdowns than pre-college commitments.
Check.
Okay.
Correct.
And the irony alert for those of us here in this particular footprint: the leading passer and the leading rusher both attended the same high school. Justice Haynes out of Michigan went for 149. Dylan Raiola went for 308 and 3. They both went to Buford. So there you go. That's your trivia nugget for this particular matchup. I was not interested in this matchup at all. I don't know. I might have been in the minority, but like in 1985, when this was Tom Osborne and Bo Schembechler, I would be interested.
That'd have been a bowl game.
Yeah, and I was not interested in this one yesterday, and I did not have the over pegged either.
It was a close game, though. I'll give them that.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri gets the win over South Carolina, 29-20. Notre Dame 56, Purdue 30. Neither of those games really worth talking about very much, but I do want to talk about a game here that's outside of the top 25. Another game where a coach may end up finding himself on the hot seat after Memphis comes back and takes down the Arkansas Razorbacks 32-31.
Yeesh.
Sam Pittman is rumored to be his hot seat.
Yeah.
If not habanero, at least approaching it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
the Razorbacks really haven't done much other than be a middling team here for the last few years. And
but I don't know. I don't know what the expectation should be with this. I mean, literally, Arkansas. To me, Arkansas is a 7-5, 8-4 team. That is, I don't know what the expectation in Fayetteville thinks it should be, but Arkansas is in that second tier in the Southeastern Conference, and you have the opportunity. You've got a lead going into it late, and then you end up with a touchdown on a 94-yard drive by Memphis, and then you've got like 4:50 to go, and you hang on. So, I mean, it was.
You're not going anywhere with the Big 12 defense.
No, and Arkansas is trying to drive the length of the field, and they're close to a score, and then they fumble, and then the last 80 seconds get burned off the clock by Memphis. So Sam Pittman is probably another individual that's going to have to look for another place to find him some cold beers after this particular season in the SEC.
Very much so. Speaking of coaches, we talked last week about a couple of coaches on the hot seat, Brent Pry and Deshaun Foster of Virginia Tech and Deshaun Foster of UCLA, both of whom found themselves unemployed shortly after we recorded the show.
Of course, they don't do it while we're doing the show on Sunday. They do it immediately after we're done with the show.
Virginia Tech did get a win this week, although they played Wofford.
Yeah.
38-6, getting them on the win column.
Yeah.
I didn't see what UCLA did. I think they might have been playing the bye week.
Yeah, and so they were competitive. For those that may have the subscription to The Athletic, there is a great deep dive into what is being perceived as the issues with the UCLA program in and around. And it was after the firing of Foster. It was a piece that came out this past week, and you have. Apparently, you have alums that are just kind of bleh right now, and you have a roster of individuals who are responding to that in kind, and it is just not a good mix. They went into the Deshaun Foster philosophy where he's never been a CEO. He's just been a coordinator, and so it was difficult for Deshaun Foster to try and be a CEO in this first college head coaching gig, and so it's a big deep dive into that if you subscribe to The Athletic.
That's not a starter market for that kind of a thing.
No.
In theory, no. And speaking of first-year coaches, want to ask you guys your thoughts on this. North Carolina traveled down to Orlando this weekend, and they took a beating. UCF beats North Carolina 34-9, dropping the North Carolina Belichick's down to 2-2. The games that they've played against teams who have some talent, they've looked like crap. They've won the games they should have. Um, is Belichick really up for coaching against teams that have some talent on them?
Sly, go for it.
Yeah, I always thought when Belichick was in New England that going up there to play was like going into Moscow to play the Russians. I mean, they had the whole, within a 50-mile radius, they had the whole thing wired. You probably couldn't communicate within your hotel without someone hearing it within the Patriots organization. So he doesn't have Brady, doesn't have that. He's not filming people's practices that we're aware of. And trying to take UNC and playing them straight up against other teams just isn't going to work. I mean, I know I don't think he's into it, and he's probably in this for his girlfriend and his son, and he's laughing all the way to the bank.
Comrade Belichick, we have intelligence on the opponent coming to Foxborough. Do you wish to see file? Do you wish to have it implemented into the system and brains of players first?
Is there gonna be a season 2 for him?
Oh, absolutely. He's gonna ride this until he feels that his son is ready to be the head coach at the University of North Carolina, and then you will see that succession plan come into place. I think what you also have seen is since there have been, I think, 704 players that have portaled into the University of North Carolina, you just have that time of adjustment, and it's coming from all over the place. And so there's a lot of reliance on your coordinators to try to figure out, okay, what can we do with these guys? Where do they fit? All these kinds of things. And the teams that have the players that haven't portaled as much, you have the senior leaders, those 3- and 4-year guys going up against a team that is portaled, and you're trying to figure out, okay, how do we fit? The puzzle's already fit with your opponent, so they have that leg up, and you saw that, I think, again with UCF.
No culture, no identity yet.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. That's the one thing you can't buy.
Mm-mm.
No, all the money in the world isn't going to buy you that. Guys, what do you say we put a wrap here on the first half of the show? And we come back in the second half of the show, we're going to preview the upcoming week in college football and talk about everybody's favorite segment, college football on a budget. That and more when we return to the second half of the review. You are listening to the review on the OSG Sports Podcasting Network.
Please like and subscribe. And stick around for the second half.
Over here in the OSG Sports side of things, we talk football. FOOTBALL. College football version here with the college football review every single week. But for those of you that like not just football with 2 O's, but football with a U, FUTBOL, there's the Soccer Down Here Network. I'm John Nelson. I host the morning show on Soccer Down Here along with Jarrett Smith, Nick Alifi, Jason Longshore. And if you're looking for the best information when it comes to the world of soccer, based in the southeastern United States, but we don't leave anything off the table. 9:05 Eastern time until 11 whenever. Sometimes we go for a while. SDH Network morning show, soccer's morning show, Monday through Friday, plus all the live events we do. It is your place and your source for soccer that is based in the Southeast, but covers everything on the world. SoccerDownHere.net, the Soccer Down Here app, available iOS and Android through our friends at Spreaker. That's like speaker with an R in the middle. Spreaker, do a search for OSG Sports. Do a search for Soccer Down Here. All the soccer content all in one place. It is the SDH Network and Soccer Down Here.
Thanks for sticking around, everybody. You have made it to the second half of the show. Guys, we got a busier week in college football coming up as we hit week 5. Might as well jump in early with our early week games. Probably the biggest one on either Thursday or Friday slate. Um, Florida State traveling to Virginia, an interesting game
Why you want to do that, man?
because I can.
Florida State's a 7.5, over under 51.5. I don't know if they get to the over under number because you're having to rely on Virginia to score points. When you go to Scott Stadium, it's one of those places that you sit there and you go, man, we survived. I don't know if you're going to have, like I said, I don't know if you're going to get those two teams getting to 51.5. I've got a sneaking suspicion that Virginia covers, maybe at the very, very latest of the late. So please make sure that you keep an eye on your backyards and make sure that all of your animals are housed appropriately for this one. And I'm thinking Florida State eventually does get the win. Won't be by much. I don't know if they get to 51.5. Especially with Thomas Castellanos and the injury, the knock that he took in the game last time out. So we'll see what it looks like at quarterback, and I think it'll be a tighter game than most folks think.
Moving on to Saturday, there's not a ton of action early in the day. Probably your highlight in the noon kickoffs, something we mentioned in the first half of the show. Number 25, USC travels to Champaign, Illinois to take on the reeling Fighting Illini. Mr. Fox, care to address this one?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting experiment of having USC playing at 9 a.m. on their body clock. Illinois has some built-in advantages in this game, obviously, for that reason, but I don't know if it's going to matter. We'll see if they get their act together this week after the debacle last night. And to me, it's more of a train wreck game. See if that continues or if they right the ship.
4.5, 57.5 right now is the number.
Who's favored?
USC.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't ask?
Come on.
I just wanted to make sure because the line
his
last week in
background.
the Indiana game was a little strange throughout the course of the week. So,
That is true.
yeah.
I want to mention, partially because it's my alma mater playing, a game at 1:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. Georgia Southern travels up to Virginia to take on James Madison, a 1:30 kickoff at Bridgeforth Stadium. You get in price for that game, guys. It's $142.
It is supply and demand at James Madison. It always is.
That used to be a 1AA championship game right there.
It did.
Uh-huh.
It's a Sun Belt contenders game now. Southern winners of their last two games. James Madison on a roll as well. I'm actually going to try and see if I can find a way to watch this one on
That's
ESPN+.
a game to watch for sure.
Yeah. No, that's going to be a fun one. So below the radar games, if you're looking, go find it on the plus.
That should be better than that.
Your 3:30 games, a couple of good feature games there. LSU traveling to Oxford, Mississippi to take on Ole Miss at Vaught Hemingway. You're getting price for that one, guys. $253 on ABC.
No shock. No shock at all.
What's the over on that?
54.5.
This could easily be your SEC game of the week.
I think they'll hit 54
Oh, yeah.
halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, take the over on that unless
Uh-huh.
it changes soon.
Yeah, I'm right there with
I
it.
don't know. The way LSU's been playing on offense for a large part of the season, this one might struggle to score points. And I'm not just accusing them of that. Ole Miss may struggle as well. The LSU defense is pretty strong this year.
All right, so go ahead and go to that second game at 3:30. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. The Auburn road trip continues. The War Eagles travel to Kyle Field in College Station to take on Texas A&M, a game on ESPN. This, too, should be a very, very interesting game. Texas A&M off to a great start this season. Auburn is doing Auburn things.
A&M 6.5, 46.5, and that reminds me that on Saturday, the game in Norman, in some circles early in the week, was also 6.5. So you want to talk about a bad beat. The safety late in the game took it to 7. So it went from 5, where you're sitting there thinking, I've covered, if you had the line at 6.5, to the safety taking it to 7, and you throwing your tickets up in the air. I don't think it's going to be the same. I think that Texas A&M covers 46.5. That'd be right in that zone. I'm not touching the total, but I think A&M covers.
Yeah, I like A&M in this game as well. I think it's going to be a battle. Don't look for a lot of points to be scored in it.
Mm-mm.
Moving on down the list.
Indiana and Iowa at 3:30.
Yeah, look for Indiana. I'm not even going to go into my details on it. I'll just say Indiana easy.
I
Okay.
don't know. Iowa will be much better prepared than Illinois was, and going into Iowa City is not easy. I don't care. Don't care who it is. So I wouldn't discount that one offhand.
6.5, 51.5. I don't know if they get to the 51.5. I really don't.
I think you're right there, but I like Indiana.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, same here. Going on down the list of games.
Lindenwood and Miami of Ohio. Sorry.
Before we get there, the Fighting Gundies get another chance at redemption. Baylor comes to T-Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater. Look for the death spiral to continue. Baylor wins that game. It's just a matter of by how much.
Yeah. Yeah. And take the over, too. I think the over will be yet another play at 3:30 Eastern.
Optional defense.
Yes. Defenses are optional. Yes, they are, as a matter of fact. Let's see. 7:30s. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, haven't gotten that far down the list yet.
I was scared.
Got to talk about a rivalry game in the beautiful state of New Mexico. New Mexico State travels to Albuquerque to
Yep.
take on New Mexico. 4 o'clock kickoff at
Yes.
University Stadium. Um,
I mean, okay, so subtle plug. Last week on the midweek show, we caught up with Robert Portnoy, the voice of New Mexico football, to find out about how things have been for Jason Eck in his first season at New Mexico and the big win over UCLA, which created the vacancy at UCLA. I like the Lobos in this one, and I also like the fact that they are with the turquoise. And so if going to turquoise is not enough reason to root for New Mexico to win against their rivals, the Aggies of New Mexico State. It's at home. They're in the turquoise, and that's all you really need to know.
Turquoise is probably good for a touchdown bump.
Yes, absolutely.
yeah. And if you've traveled through the state of New Mexico, everything there is about the turquoise.
Good.
Other games of note as we go into the early evening hours. I'm just interested in this because it's local a little bit. Middle Tennessee coming to Kennesaw to take on Kennesaw State, who at one point was ranked by some of the pundits as the worst team in college football. The Owls have won their last 2 games.
Including the Arkansas State game on Saturday.
Exactly. That was where I was going with that. And I don't think they're the worst team in college football at all. This one might be worth going to check out. K-State could end up becoming 3-2 after this game.
I mean, Middle Tennessee lost to our friend Brian Reeves and Austin Peay to start the season. So the OSG bump does exist in inverse here. So in the land of hoot and shoot, it might be an opportunity. So, I mean, we'll go ahead and jinx it. 6 o'clock kick at the Fraction. Get in price $20. No, it's not football on a budget. Probably will be by the end of the week. But shoot, I'll take it. Hoot and shoot gets the win over Middle Tennessee.
And your 2 Saturday night marquee games, both one's a Big Ten game, one is an SEC game. Your Big Ten game, Oregon travels to Happy Valley to take on Penn State, a 7:30 primetime kickoff on NBC and Peacock.
I don't know what this game's going to tell us. Neither of them has played anybody.
No.
They've looked good against inferior competition. Well, more so Oregon than Penn State. But what do we know after this game, though?
We know one team's going to have a big hurdle to overcome if they want to make it to the championship game, the Big Ten championship, and possibly the college football playoff.
Yeah, going to Penn State, I mean, keeping with the reference that I made earlier about Foxborough, I'd say going to play in State College is like going to Bucharest, not quite going to Moscow, but still extremely difficult environment to go in and deal with, so, even for Oregon.
Oh, there's a Victor Orban joke in there somewhere, but okay.
Yeah, we're going to stay out of politics because this is a college football show.
And we want to have an episode next week as well.
Yes,
so.
yes. Get in price, by the way, Penn State 3.5, 53.5. Get in price at Beaver. Thanks, just had it stuffed. $430.
Ooh.
Get in.
And they're still doing construction there, so they're short a few seats.
Yeah, and guys, that one's not even the most expensive game on the board.
Nope.
That's because the next one is the ever-growing rivalry between Alabama and Georgia continues Saturday night as the Crimson Tide roll into Sanford Stadium to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. That's a 7:30 primetime game on ABC. You're getting price for that one, as we just mentioned, $448. This might be worth watching in the comfort of your own home on your big screen TV or at your favorite watering hole.
Freaking carpet.
I think it's going to be worth seeing.
Just to see if Kalen DeBoer is still viewed as the UAT's head coach after next week.
Yeah, he's gotten some of the pressure off of him with the Tide winning the last couple of games and looking pretty good doing it. But I think, what do you think? They lose here. Does that hot seat get hotter again?
3.5. Georgia's 3.5, 53.5. No real shock. It's an early line. in the even keeled emotional landscape that is college football, I definitely think that if something happens that is not a win in Tuscaloosa for Kalen DeBoer, that not this Monday but next Monday, Paul Feinbaum will once again be must-watch/listen material.
Yeah, I'm all ears.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, sorry. But every loss in Alabama is a hot seat moment for that coach.
That is true.
Regardless of who it's against.
Yeah, doesn't matter who the coach is, doesn't matter what it looks like, but yes, the coach's seat is always hot unless you win, and then it's only less hot than it would be.
Yeah. Prime example of you lose, the world is coming to an end.
All right, hit it.
Yep, it's time now for your favorite segment and ours, College Football on a Budget, where we talk about college football games that you can get into for roughly the price of a good soft drink. Guys, that means we go back up to the top of the list. I'm going to go a little bit on the expensive side here and start off with our Thursday night game, Army at East Carolina. You're getting price at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium, $11.
I'm in. Great environment. Thursday night football. It's Army and East Carolina. They don't like each other. Ding.
I'm in. I think they have turkey legs there too, so that's reason enough.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, that works
Good
for
way
me.
to spend a Thursday night.
And if you don't do that one, you could always take a trip out to Oregon, Houston and Oregon State Friday night, a 10:30 Eastern kickoff on ESPN. Get in price at Reser Stadium in Corvallis, $11.
Not on a Friday night. I would say any other night of the week, yes. My Friday nights are occupied, so it is a conditional yes, but not on a Friday night.
It's a no unless they're handing out 2-pack hats.
Moving on to Saturday, we don't have a ton of games that kind of fit into this category, but we do have a few, including some MAC action.
Action, baby. Go see the
Noon-
raccoon.
Yes.
Noon kickoff in Athens, Ohio, Bowling Green at Ohio. You're getting price for that game on the CBS Sports Network, $6.
That is a beautiful campus. Go.
Yep. Agreed.
Well,
And go see Eddie George.
well, yes. And the larger point is that I believe it is Ohio University that has completely and totally embraced the Sickos Committee Maction Raccoon. I believe it is Ohio University that actually has the Maction Raccoon turnover chain.
Wow.
Okay.
And so, look, on that alone, I'm looking for turnovers, And I want to see the Maction Raccoon turnover chain on the sideline at Peden Stadium, because they are a consistent football on a budget for us. But this added extra is getting me back in the door at Peden in Athens, Ohio.
Yeah, worth it. Worth being able to say you saw it at least once.
Worth it for the price of a Maction Raccoon.
Moving on down the list, we talked about Tulsa earlier in the show. Their game against Tulane, Tulane traveling to Chapman Stadium in Tulsa. The get-in price for that game, $10.
I'm going to pass on
Pass
this
on
one
going to
because we know
Tulsa.
they're going to be back in this segment next week and probably the week after.
Yeah, as much as Trey Lamb is a favored coach, he does have most favored coach nation status here on the show. We'll probably be circling back to Tulsa, and for Tulane, it's an important game for them, having to rebound from what happened against Ole Miss on Saturday. So this is a rebound opportunity for Tulane and a reinforcement matchup for Tulsa.
Moving on down here, a 7 o'clock kickoff. Jacksonville State traveling to Southern Miss. You're getting price at M.M. Roberts Stadium down in beautiful Hattiesburg, Mississippi. $7. Is Hattiesburg on a Saturday night worth $7, guys? Particularly when you have a couple of good evening games going on in college football.
Depends on what you can find at the Jitney Jungle heading back to the hotel, but I will go sidebar on this one because once again, OSG Sports bump for head coach Charles Kelly at Jacksonville State. So the road team gets the OSG bump. So I will say ding, ding, ding because of that and that alone.
I'm passing. Just not feeling it.
Yeah, not really feeling it either. And our final game on the list, some ACC, well, not really ACC action, some California football. San Jose State at Stanford on the ACC network. You're getting price at Stanford Stadium. It's $8.
Nope. Not
Yeah,
happening.
I'll watch it on the CW. Or
Not
wherever it is.
happening. No. Yeah. Not
It's
happening.
on the ACC network, Marty. Not on CW this week.
Home game. Yeah. It's the home team. The home team gets it. And so the answer to that would be no. Just to cover it in 1AA, we do have a couple of expensive college footballs on a budget. Yale Bowl, Cornell and Yale at noon, get in price at $13.
Nah.
If you've never been to Yale Bowl, I would say go once because of the history attached to it, but we'll probably be circling back to that.
Yeah.
Hard to watch
Cornell,
football
I'll
if your
say
nose
yes.
that high.
Yes. Here's the first one, and once again, it's on the fringes. It is an expensive football on a budget. Jack Coffey Field in the Bronx, Holy Cross and Fordham, get in price $15.
It would be interesting just to be able to say you saw a college football game in the Bronx.
Yeah, and that's kind of the play for that one. And then the final one in 1AA, Nichols at Eastern Kentucky, 6 o'clock play at Roy Kidd Stadium in Richmond, Kentucky, get in price of $14.
Too rich for my blood.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So there you go.
got to get a bigger incentive than that to get me out to the east part of the state of Kentucky because there just ain't a whole lot there.
Yes. So there you go.
Plenty of parking, few hotels.
Yes.
Well, guys, that kind of gets us through the week in college football and the weekend, I guess, really in college football. One other I wanted to talk about before we left one other coach that might find himself on the hot seat. And he got the dreaded vote of confidence this week after the fans started chanting, fire him. And we're talking about Luke Fickell, the coach of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Oh, here we go. Sly, rev it up.
Yep. What Barry Alvarez built in Wisconsin is officially dead. And that started to rot when Paul Chryst was there. And they are back where they should be after a good 35-year run. And they've got some work to do now in a revamped Big Ten to get back anywhere close to where they were.
It's a 35-year run, and we're done.
Looking forward to him coming to Ohio State to be defensive coordinator. His next job.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, as I said earlier during the break, sometimes you can go home again.
Absolutely true.
Anything else you guys want to hit on here before we wrap things up on this week's episode?
Yeah, really quickly. There's a reason that we do football on a budget. And the main reason is that we want you to widen your horizons when it comes to the games that we all enjoy, regardless of the day of the week now. So if there is an opportunity, if your team is on a bye, if your team is on the road and you're not going on a road game, go and visit these places that we talk about, just to sit there and experience it in other places. And that way you have stories to tell and you can kind of hang out and come back with more stories that you might not have had otherwise. So don't be afraid to go to other places as a neutral, enjoy the experience, and go to places that you've never been before to continue to enjoy college football. It doesn't have to be a Division I thing. If you're a Division I person, don't worry about it. You can go to an FCS, go to a D2, a D3, an NAIA. They need your support just as much as the next
Saturday,
team.
I'm going to a JUCO game.
See?
Exactly.
This is what we're
We'll
saying.
be sending some pictures.
And this
Behind the socials.
And this is why we do football on a budget. So everyone can widen their horizons and sit there and say, yeah, I've seen that team. That's why we talk about it when we're doing college basketball, when we do the basketball shows, for those teams that are under the radar. So go enjoy the experience in some place that you've never been before. And that's why we do college football on a budget. And that is our PSA for the day. The more you know.
And adding on to what John said, sometimes to get a better perspective of what the game's really all about, you don't necessarily need to be in a 95,000 seat college football stadium on a massive campus. Sometimes that smaller experience, that intimate look at what it's like when it's the biggest thing in town and there's 20,000 people maximum at the game, a lot of times that's more enjoyable and you get to see how much it means, how much fun it can be, the tailgating, the everybody kind of banding together for that one day a week and enjoying what the game's all about. It's not commercial. You don't get a game that's going to be on TV with 1.5 million commercial breaks every time somebody calls a timeout, has a turnover, or gets a first down.
Yeah.
You get the game the way it's meant to be played.
And so enjoy it in places that you've never enjoyed it before. That's our PSA for the day.
All right. We're done getting set. We're finished getting sentimental and waxing poetic, and we will wrap up the show. Thank you for sticking around, everybody. I know it's been a long time, but there was a lot to go through this week.
A lot to get into this week.
And next week should be even more interesting with some of those games that we talked about. So for the entire Online Sports Guys team, I said thing. Team, it wouldn't be a game without, or wouldn't be a show without me at least goofing up at least once. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you will let your friends know about us. We want you to watch, listen, and hopefully learn a little bit about the game of college football. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week, and we will catch up to you again in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Please like and subscribe.